It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the three films of January 12th, 2007. We're still in the dumping months here, and, yeah, this week's not going to be any better. We got three movies to look at here, so let's just go ahead and jump on into it, and we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend that turned out to be the first big hit of the year, and that is Stomp the Yard. I mean, what you see is what you get, really. Stomp the Yard centers on D.J. Williams, played by Columbus Short, who's a college student at a fictional historical black university, who pledges to join a fictional Greek letter fraternity, and the film's central conflict includes DJ's fraternity competing in various stepping competitions against a rival fraternity of the same school. You also have Make It Good in here, Neo, the singer, and also Laz Alonso, Harry Lennox. A lot of notable names in here. Chris Brown is also in the movie as well. But, I mean, like I said before, what you see here is what you get. You either are going to buy into it or you're not. The school they're going to is a place that's literally called Truth University. I mean, maybe that's a real place somewhere, but I certainly have never heard of it before. But, yeah, like I said, you're going to this movie, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're either going to go in there and know that you're not going to get a very good plot overall, but you're going to go in there to see some impressive dance numbers. And the dance numbers in here are impressively done. They are really cool to look at. But other than that, though, the story has been there, done that before. We've seen the story like this done before so many times in much better movies, and just, it really has to be something that, a really good performance that's really going to elevate this to another level overall. And unfortunately, the film doesn't have that all the way through. But, like I said, if you know what you're going into and know that you're just going in there to see how cool the dance numbers are, yeah, I think you can have a good time with it overall. I thought it was just okay overall, so nothing really too significant to say about this one, but, yeah, like I said, nothing too crazy, nothing too spectacular. Know what you're going into, and you know what you're going to get in here, and that's what I kind of went into here. Not a great movie, but the dance numbers are pretty cool overall. So with that said, let's move on to the next movie we have here, which probably is the best overall movie of the week, which really isn't saying a whole lot, but, Alpha Dog. Bruce, what the hell was up with that hair, man? I mean, he's good in the movie overall, but I'm sorry, Bruce Willis, you had to have, there's no way you looked at that hair and you realized, this is perfect, this is going to go right with my performance in this movie. Because, yeah, that hair just looks absolutely horrible on him, and like I said, it kind of takes away from the good performance he has in here. Everybody in here is really good, but, it's 1999 in Claremont, California. Middle-class 20-somethings talking trash, waving guns, hang on the pack, I should say. You have Johnny Truelove, played by, was it Justin Timberlake or Emile Hirsch? It's Emile Hirsch who plays Johnny Truelove here. I thought it was one or the other, but he's a drug dealer and son of an underworld figure. He threatens Jake Mazursky, an explosive head case who owes Johnny money. Jake responds by breaking into Johnny's house. On impulse, Johnny and a couple of pals kidnap Jake's 15-year-old brother, Zach, and Zach is okay with it, figuring that his brother will pay the debt soon. Johnny assigns his buddy Frankie, played by Justin Timberlake, to be Zach's minder, and they develop a brotherly friendship. Zach parties with his captors as things begin to spiral out of control. Groupthink, immorality, and fear of prison assert a hold on the pack. Is Zach in danger? So there's a little bit of a Training Day mixed in with a little bit of Lords of Dogtown, considering that a lot of the people from Lords of Dogtown are in this movie. Emile Hirsch, like I said, Justin Timberlake is also in here. I don't think he was in that movie, but a really good cast overall in here. Ben Foster, who's really good in the movie. Sean Hatosi, Anton Yelchin, the late Anton Yelchin, who plays the person that was inspired by the real story behind this. Sharon Stone, Bruce Willis, you see Amanda Seyfried there, Dominic Swain, Chris Marquette, Olivia Wilde, Vincent Kartheiser, pre-Mad Men, Holt McCaney, Harry Dean Stanton, a lot of really good talent all throughout this movie. And it makes for a very compelling film overall that works really well because of how strong the performances are in here. Let's talk about Nick Cassavetes, and what a way to go from The Notebook to this. I mean, this just shows that the range of directing that the guy has on his resume, and this is a film that really works because of how well the performances are, how engaging the story is. It's a really impressively put together movie. It's a kind of a been there, done that storyline, but it works because you get so invested in the storyline here. They kidnap this kid, and the kid's just like, okay, I'll join along for the ride, and of course he eventually becomes a part of that pack overall, and it leads to a lot of good intrigue and controversy and decisions of what to do next overall. And it's not afraid to go over to play it safe either. It goes hard at times when it needs to, and good lord, like it's not afraid to get extremely violent when it needs to, and it plays well to the storyline that they're trying to tell here. It's a really good movie. It's one that I think is definitely very underrated. It's a film that kind of came and went when it came out. Plus, it shows what Justin Timberlake can do as an actor overall. I think he's a very capable actor as a whole. And yeah, I think he works very well in here for the little bit that he's in. It shows what he could do later on down the road. And yeah, he's really good in here. Everybody here plays their parts very well. It's a really damn good movie, man. I can't recommend this one enough. Definitely check it out. It's a very underrated film, Alpha Dog. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last film that we have here, and that is the killer crocodile movie, Primeval. You never heard of Gustav? You probably never did after this movie again, because honestly, I never even heard of Gustav before or after this movie came out. I mean, this is a film that's making it seem like that this guy's on the same level of this crocodile's on the same level of some of history's greatest killers, and 5 kills for one person, 6 for the other, over 300 for a crocodile. I think we can make the assumption here that, yeah, the crocodile is obviously going to have a much longer lifespan here, because nobody's really going to go and find a crocodile that's killed 300 people like they would find somebody that has 5 or 6 different kills overall. I mean, maybe that's just my thinking about it, but bottom line is that this is not a very good movie overall. It's a film that centers around a team of American journalists who travels to Burundi to film and capture the infamous crocodile Gustav. And it's inspired partially by a true story. And I will say that I'm a little disappointed that that commercial did not have probably the funniest scream I've ever heard in the trailer for a horror movie. I mean, if you watch the full trailer for this, you may not know what I'm talking about here, but these couple seconds here just make me laugh every single time I see it. I'm sorry, I don't know if it was the editing or not, but that makes me laugh every time I see the trailer. I don't know if it's because it's 2 different scenes going together, but for some reason, that scream just makes me laugh every time I see it. I mean, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just, it's one of those little things where it's just like, it really should not be that big of a deal to anybody else, but I laugh pretty hard every time I see that little bit there in the trailer for this. But it's the only thing I remember most from that movie is because of that little bit there. Because everything else about the movie is pretty much garbage. I mean, this was Dominic Purcell's first big movie after Prison Break was the big success on Fox. Orlando Jones is in here for some reason, I guess, and Brooke Langton, because we haven't heard from her since The Replacements, which is a much better movie overall. But yeah, the biggest problem with this movie overall is that the film has no idea what it wants to be. Does it want to be a serial killer movie? Does it want to be this mystery thriller where we learn all the details about this thing? Or does it want to be a crocodile movie, a killer croc movie on the levels of Lake Placid or Anaconda? It doesn't know which one it wants to go for, and because of that, the movie suffers because of it, because we can't take this threat seriously if we have no idea what the intentions are for the film. Are we supposed to take this seriously, or is this supposed to be a silly, stupid, guilty pleasure film? And the film can't decide on which one it wants to be, and because of that, it suffers big time. We can't get scared by this crocodile, and the kills in here aren't even that impressive to begin with here. There's a lot of dry moments in here where literally nothing happens for a good chunk of time, and it's just completely a waste of your time overall. It's just, there's nothing about it that works overall. It's not a good movie. It's the definition of a film that was dumped in this month because the studio realized what crap it was. And yeah, they know it's not going to make any money anytime soon. So yeah, avoid Primeval like the plague. But like I said, that scream though, priceless. Yeah, you might be wondering why the show isn't over yet, because, yeah, I completely forgot I was supposed to do this last one here. I caught it before I finished the show, though. That's the good news. The bad news is, this movie really is not worth your time whatsoever. Of course, I'm talking about, Luc Besson's Arthur and the Invisibles, which, I mean, this is his opportunity to show what he can do outside of his normal genre, and, he did it. That's what I'll give him credit for. But you see Freddie Highmore there as Arthur, who's a spirited 10-year-old boy whose parents are away looking for work. And his eccentric grandfather has been missing for several years, and he lives with his grandmother in a country house that in 2 days will be repossessed. torn down and turned into a block of flats, unless Arthur's grandfather returns to sign some papers and pay off the family debt. A lot going on in that one sentence alone, but Arthur discovers that the key to success lies in his own descent into the land of the Minimoys, creatures no larger than a tooth, with whom his grandfather helped relocate to their garden. Somewhere among them is a pile of rubies, too. Can Arthur be of stout heart and save the day? Romance beckons as well as the villain lurks, and the villain played by David Bowie. And he's not the only major star in the movie. Freddie Highmore's not the only one there. We've got stars across the board here. Mia Farrow's in here, Adam LaFerre, Madonna's in here, Robert De Niro, you hear Snoop Dogg there a little bit, Chaz Palminteri, Jimmy Fallon. I mean, there's just so much going on in this movie, and it's just, yeah, it's trying to be a new James and the Giant Peach overall, and that's just by the way, that's just the regular version of the film, the Weinstein Company version, because, you know, Weinstein Company was also behind Miramax's Completion Bond Company, so they said, let's bring in more stars as well. Not just the names ones we mentioned before, but let's add in Jason Bateman, let's add in Emilio Estevez, Harvey Keitel, the Cordrys, Rob and Nate, Eric Pursullivan from Malcolm in the Middle, Anthony Anderson. I mean, just so many people in this movie, and yeah, just like with most of the Completion Bond movies from the Miramax back in the 90s, this is a film that is really not that good. Like I said, it was trying to be a new James and the Giant Peach, and it just fails miserably to do that, because James and the Giant Peach was a very ambitious movie, and while it wasn't as good as Nightmare Before Christmas was, it was still doing a lot more than anything in this movie. These creatures in here look absolutely disgusting. The CG on them is absolutely abysmal. The comedy isn't funny. Luc Besson is trying his best to branch out of his norm, but this was the kind of the beginning of the downfall for him, because honestly, Luc Besson has not made a lot of good movies in the last 20 years. I mean, one of his movies he's made is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, and we'll eventually get to that one when we get to 2014, just to give you kind of an indication of what that movie is, but yeah, these movies are not, his movies as of late have not been that great overall. In fact, he hasn't really done anything that spectacular probably since The Fifth Element, and even then, that was, what, 30 years ago almost? Now, granted, that's just as a director. I mean, as a producer, he's done the Transporter movies, which are fun. The first Taken movie is great. Everyone after that, not so much. But, yeah, he has produced and written a lot of good stuff, but as a director, not so much. And this was his attempt to branch out to something different, and he made all three of these movies really thinking that he had something, and it just wasn't there. It's just a bland movie that's trying to be something that's so much besides something that's so much better, like James and the Giant Peach, and just, yeah, it just doesn't work. So yeah, I'd say skip Arthur and the Invisibles overall, just both versions, honestly, not just the regular version, not just the Weinstein version, but the original version as well, because let's be honest, neither one of them is that good. So yeah, avoid Arthur and the Invisibles like the plague. So now I can finally say that's the end of this episode of Time About the Movies. But next time we meet, we will have our 2006 leftover show finally, because we only have one movie on January 19th, and that is the remake of The Hitcher, which we really will not need to delve into because it's a bad remake of by Rogue Pictures, produced by Michael Bay, so take that for what you will. But I have a list of movies here I did not get to cover last year's episodes, but I have them right here. Bambi 2, we'll look at one of the Disney movies. Hoodwinked, I said I was going to do that after I completely missed out on it. The original High School Musical, Stuart Little 3, Michael Keaton starring in Game 6, Dr. Dolittle 3, Leroy and Stitch, the end of the Lilo and Stitch storyline, Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling, Brother Bear 2, and Bah Humduck, A Looney Tunes Christmas. So we will have a lot of movies to cover, and that'll be on the next episode of the show. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page. Check out the previous episode. And also don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button. And hit the notification bell as well, because you get updates on when new videos come out as we post them here every day. But don't go too far away, because coming up in a little bit after I'm done uploading this, we have a new Time About the Movies flashback for you. We'll flashback to the end of September 1987 with 5 movies, including Bestseller, The Big Town, China Girl, Reelin, and Rob Reiner's The Princess Bride. So we will take a look at all 5 of those movies coming up on the Time About the Movies flashback, which will be coming up right after I post this. So please stick around, because we will be right back right after this.